Nigeria, the famous, world famous Seun Kuti.
Hello, everybody.
And all the way from Birmingham, Soweto, Kinch.
Hello.
For the people who never heard of the Kuti dynasty, if I may say so, he is the son of the world famous Fela Kuti, the inventor of Afrobeat. And if somebody in the audience doesn't know what Afrobeat is, Sean will explain. What is Afrobeat?
Afrobeat is it's not just music genre. It's music for the people. It's something my father created to give a voice to all the oppressed people in the motherland. You know, so it goes beyond just music. It's more of a musical. It's more of a movement. So it's a musical movement, cultural movement, political movement. You know, but we express it mostly musically.
You were very young, I read. When you were 9, you asked to be in the band of your father. Is that true, or is that just a media story?
Actually, I was 8, you know, but yeah, it's true. It's true.
8?
Yeah.
And what did you went to your father?
Yeah, you know, when your dad is the boss, you know, your auditions can come, you know, it's a bit easier. So I told my dad, you know, he was finishing the tour, we're in the States, and I asked him, he said, okay, when you get to Lagos, come rehearse with the band, you know, so that's how I got the job. Nepotism, good old-fashioned nepotism.
And did the older guys in the band accept you because you were 9 years old? And what do they think? What is this guy doing? Or he is the son of Fela, so we don't say anything?
No, what I was doing, there was nobody doing what I wanted to do in the band, actually.
Yeah.
Because what I wanted to do was to open the shows for my father.
Yeah.
You know, there was nobody opening for him, so everybody loved that. So it was, because without me, all they used to do at Shrine was the band would play from like midnight till like 2 in the morning when my father came, and Fela would play from 2 in the morning till 6 in the morning. So what we just did was, now they had somebody that could sing some songs, you know, just before Fela came at 2. So I used to just be like opening the show, you know, and it was also for me, it was a way of staying up all night on Friday. You know, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Shrine, man.
Yeah.
I'm up all night, bro.
Yeah. Incredible days. I saw your father a few times in Amsterdam. Rotterdam was always a great show. And then in 1997 he died. And you got, actually they gave the band to you. How did that went? Because I still don't know, you were 15 years old. And then they suddenly said, here is the Egypt 80, because that was the name of the band in those days. How did it went? Or did already, what is the story?
Well, it wasn't, nobody gave it to me. The thing was, you know, after my father died, and again, I was 14. You're always adding a year. The thing is, you know, I'd been playing with the band since I was 8. You know, so this is like 6 years already that we've been working together, the band and I, you know, I used to tour with them, open the shows. So when my father died, the family was like, well, the band is so big and it's too much of a responsibility for the family to take on without my father. You know, so I just said, well, instead of disbanding the band, let me keep playing with them. And they're like, okay, but don't stress us with anything. Keep whatever you make. I'm like, yes.
That was the beginning. Now you are here. You made 4 albums, I think. You just what is the title of your new CD?
Black Times,
Yeah.
featuring Carlos Santana, co-produced by Robert Glasper.
Yeah. It's a very political album, if I may say so. Can you something say about the topics? Because people are familiar with the music, but the topics, like...
Well, you know, I always say also that even when you choose not to be political, that's a political statement. You know, if you're like, I'm not political, that's political. You know, so yeah, my music is just what everything is. You know, I speak the reality of my people, of myself, what I see, what I believe society should look like. You know, and yeah, and I make my criticisms. You know, so yeah, I think that's, for me, that's what it is. You know, I feel every time I make an album, it has to represent me personally and musically, you know. wherever I am personally as a human being, I want that to reflect on my record. And wherever I am musically as well, I want that to reflect on my record.
Yeah.
You know, so as long as those two things are ticked, you know, I'm perfect.
How's the state of your country at the moment, or Africa in general? More?
Well, the motherland is the raw, I think the motherland is a raw reflection of the world. You know, Africa looks like the world, you know. Here in Europe and in America, you know, many things can be disguised and hidden with the beautiful things, but underneath, humanity is all the same, and society is rotting the same everywhere in the world. I think what's going on is that there's an elitist narrative in the world that keeps us apart, and we don't see these similarities in our existence, and the atrocity to nature, the atrocity to humanity. It's not only an African thing anymore. I mean, even austerity was an African thing only 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Now there's austerity all over Southern Europe. Don't worry, guys, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming, man. It's coming, creeping up from Africa, Greece, Spain, Italy. It's coming up. You know, France is next. I know that for sure. You know, so yeah. So that's it for me. That's it for me. I believe it's not only about what's going on in Africa anymore. We as working class and poor people all over the world have to understand the similarities in our existence and how neoliberalism and capitalism is betraying humanity, and stand on the side of the people, you know, against the elitist narrative. Be you from Africa, you know, Netherlands, Australia, wherever, you know. These days, when people really ask me like, oh, what's the situation like in Africa? I'm like, what's the situation like where you're from? Are you paying attention? You know, because it's the same. It's really the same.
Yeah. And what is the most important thing you learned from your father? And I'm not speaking about music, but let's say life lesson. What did he learn to you still have in your head?
Very simple. Yabis is no case. And this means this is pidgin English, but in English it means you can say whatever the fuck you want to whatever the fuck you want to say it to. You know, that's the biggest lesson my dad gave me. So, you know, I say whatever the fuck I want.
Okay, I go to my brother.
Pardon
on
my French. Yeah, pardon my French.
We understand what you're saying. We just you're gonna play tonight with Seun.
Yes.
Can you tell me what will be your role and what is special about the cooperation?
Ooh, I'm a saxophone player and MC, so I'll be doing that specifically with the Shankur and Egypt 80, and it's probably our 5th time jamming together and having this experience. So I expect a lot of sparks and camaraderie, and there's a lot of fire that the band and certainly Seun generates that I feed off of, and it's a particular sort of intensity that's quite a blessing. I think as diasporic people as well, we kind of had these chit chats, you know what I mean? And there's so much affinity and things that we understand about each other without even having to be explicit about it. So I think sometimes it's the things that go unsaid that show that we understand each other musically and culturally, and that's such an enriching experience. So come see the show, definitely.
No, come see it.
Yeah, this is not just the theory, the practice.
In almost 1 hour, but I just want to ask a few questions more. I think I got the impression I could talk with you for 20 hours,
but we
we're
don't
not
have
going to
20
do
hours.
it. No,
We
we're
might
not
not
going
even
to
have
do
20
it.
minutes.
Listen, I can flip the show for the interview. I could flip the show for the interview, it's fine. I'll be paid. Switch it.
Well, but look, people,
like,
people are waiting for you.
Stop talking!
Riot. No, about tonight, because I will make it very short, because you have to go to the dressing room tonight. What can the people from the Netherlands and wherever they come from expect tonight? Fire?
You know, we try as much as possible to make sure that the last show is the best show. We put a lot of work towards that. You know, for me it's a priority. I don't just go on stage to just finish the show. You know, I want to leave an impression every time. So tonight is going to be my best show ever.
Everybody say yeah. Okay, I think it's, as I said, we could talk for hours about politics, about Vela, about this, whatever. You have to prepare yourself for the show.
Yeah, let's